I didn't put my old shoes on. Am I stupid or what?
I put my own. I didn't put mine on.
Are you frightened?
Oh yeah, well, frightened the kids, yeah.
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
So you're all from Manor Road School across the way. My name's Boyd Harris, and I was an engineer many years ago, working for North West Water. And this was one of the reservoirs that I used to come in every so often. Normally, this was full right to the top. You can see the top water level. Can you see where it stops being dark? That's it, someone's pointed the light. That's how full it was, right to the top. And it was built 130 years ago, in 1883, to serve Leyland. Now, before this was built, Leyland didn't have any public water supplies. People had to get a bucket and go to the nearest well or spring, because that was the only water supply. But they needed lots and lots of clean water. So what they had to do was dig a deep well just down by the A6. You can see where it was, 80 feet deep and 8 feet diameter. Now this is 1883, so there's no electricity, no electric pumps, so they had to build two massive steam engines to run the pumps. And they were fired by boilers, so the whole thing was fueled by coal. And it pumped water up into this pipe here, that 8-inch main. So in 1883 the pumps would fill this up right to the roof, right up to the top, 300,000 gallons. Now in the morning, when everyone gets up in Leyland, they want the breakfast, they want a cup of tea, everybody starts opening the taps at the same time, so the pumps can't keep up. Those two outlet mains on that far wall with all the holes in, the big strainer boxes, the water shoots down there at high speed by gravity, because we're higher than Leyland here. The pumps feeding in can't keep up, so the water level starts to drop through the day, and it's dropping all the time until mid-evening, when people stop using water and go to bed. The pumps can catch up, so overnight the water level rises again, ready for the next morning when people start drawing water for breakfast. So the level is going up and down on a 24-hour cycle. Now by the 1930s, Leyland was so big, this wasn't big enough, so they had to make a new one, which is just across the road on Back Lane, but it's underground. It's concrete, but it's massive, and since then this was only used one day a year. While they emptied the other one to clean it, this was used one day a year to fill Leyland. But since then, Leyland is so big, this would be of no use at all to supply, so it's been redundant now for well over 25 years. In 1883, this will keep Leyland going for maybe 2 or 3 days if we stop pumping. If we fill this up to the roof now, this whole tank, 300,000 gallons, will be gone in half an hour. That's 2.2 litres, half a gallon. Every day, every person in Leyland, every day, uses 60 of those of water. So that gives you an idea. That's 30 gallons, that's 150 litres for every person in Leyland every day. So you can understand why this wouldn't last very long today. And we hardly drink any of it. We hardly drink any of it. Most of it's used for the washing machine, washing up, this, that and the other. But the greatest volume of that, 1/3 of all the water that comes into your house, any idea where that goes? Where?
Toilets.
flushed down the toilets. So a third of all the water is flushed down the toilet. There's a little access hatch in the far corner.
All right.
You see the ladders there? That was the only way we could get in.
Right.
Those steps only went in a week ago.
All right.
Last Thursday, actually.
Right.
What's the hole for back there?
Well, when they built the new reservoir in about 1940, they had to lay a new water main because the pumps and the well wasn't enough. They couldn't get enough water. So they laid a pipe from Wheelton which connected to a huge aqueduct called the Thirlmere Aqueduct, which went through in 1894, and they brought a new supply of water with lots more water, and they put a new inlet in the far corner, and a pipe next to it at the floor where it used to go out into the new reservoir. So it's what they call a cross connection. When you have two reservoirs, you have to connect them both, so you can use one or the other. We had to empty it once a year to clean it.
Right.
So the first thing we did was drain it off. Now can you see this cordoned off area?
Yeah.
That's called the sump channel, or a drain channel. And in that far corner, there's a pipe at the lowest level. And when that's open, it goes into a drain.
Yeah.
So the whole tank is drained. And then a team of men would come down the old ladder, the old cast iron ladder, with brushes and a chemical called chloros. And they would scrub all the walls and the floor, and then they'd sterilise it with chloros, which is chlorine. And that meant that the whole tank was sterilised. And then everyone would get out, up the access shaft, would fill it up with clean water, and then that could be fed straight into supply. Once it left here, the next stop was your tap that you open. So this is pure drinking water. The waterproofing, this is built on the same lines that the Romans used thousands of years ago. They used to build similar tanks to this, and they call the water cisterns. Same thing, vaulted arches, but they were made of stone. And to make them waterproof, they used to put on the outside the same system that this is made waterproof with, and that's clay, and it's called puddle clay. And they used to put layers of clay down and then stamp on it with the feet and get it all flat, and that will keep it waterproof. And it's the same system that they used when they built the canals. So the reason your canals don't leak is because of a core of puddle clay underneath the towpath, just the same as this reservoir. But this was built in 1883. Within another 10 years, concrete technology had advanced so much that they could build things like this much cheaper with reinforced concrete. So from around the 1890s, there's still many of these still in existence and in use, but they're all concrete.
So this is unusual.
This is totally unusual. This is the last of its size, brick vaulted Victorian brickwork in the whole of Lancashire, as far as I'm aware.
stars by the light of the moon. What'd you wish when you threw that rock?
Oh, no.
Come on,
no.
tell me.
If I told you, it might not come true.